Feel the tremor? A stone hits. Hope shatters. Ancient walls whisper. A world changed forever. What then? Look closely. An empire's tide. Men stretching beyond sight. Such power. Such relentless will. Unstoppable, one wonders. Yet, within those walls, a single heart beats. Weary, but holding quiet resolve. A stubborn, fragile flicker. A tiny island of stone against a sea of tents. The scale unimaginable. This siege changed a world. Let us journey back. To a time empires clashed. Destiny by a fragile thread. A story waits. A storm gathered. The Mongol Empire swept across the known world, expanding, ever expanding. A force to reckon. And there, in the south, lay ancient splendor. Rich, vibrant, too complacent. A target for vast, hungry empires. Yet, one small dot on the map would hold the fate of everything. Its name, Xiangyang. These walls, stone, earth, defiance. They stood, the very last breath of a civilization, I tell you. If these stones could speak, oh, the stories of forgotten battles, of quiet strength, long held. A lone figure, a silent guardian. His watch, a heavy burden. Upon his vigilance, everything. And in the distance, a shadow grew. An ocean of tents, patiently waiting. Numbers beyond imagining. A small city, a mere dot, ringed by 100,000. The scale defies modern understanding. These were not just warriors, a force of nature. Their focus singular, their will unyielding. Strategy, grim, meticulous, unfolded. A chess game where civilizations were pawns, remember that always. Within the walls, life continued. A deceptive calm, a fragile bubble, oblivious to the storm. 8,000 souls against 100,000. The odds defied logic. Yet they stood. These gates, massive and silent, were more than wood. They were the very promise of safety. A banner, a fluttering prayer against the winds, a last symbol of a fading empire. But whispers grew, a quiet fear, a chill wind. The truth of their grim fate dawned. As the sun set, shadows lengthened, not just on stone, but on hopes of an entire people. These walls stood, a testament to courage, defiance. But could stone withstand the tide forever? Imagine, if you will, the world as it was, long ago, in the fading light of the 13th century. Ancient empires rose and fell, their stories whispered by winds through forgotten valleys and quiet, sun-drenched fields. But this particular moment held a different kind of breath, a deep tremor promising transformation for every soul. East Asia, then, was a vibrant heart, beating with the rhythms of trade, art, and timeless human endeavors. Yet, far beyond the familiar, something new was stirring, a force gathering strength like a brewing storm. From the vast, windswept steppes, a name began to echo, carried by the very winds themselves. These were the Mongols, a people forged in the crucible of harsh lands, now uniting under an iron will. They were an unstoppable current, sweeping across continents with a speed and ferocity few had ever witnessed. Tales of their conquests, whispered from afar, painted a picture of a world forever changed by their might. A new empire was taking shape, built on horse and bow, stretching its shadow across the known world. At the heart of this rising power stood Kublai Khan, a man of vast ambition, with a king's mind. He was the grandson of Genghis, inheriting a legacy of conquest, but dreaming of a different kind of reign. His vision extended beyond mere plunder. He sought to govern, to build, to unite all under one grand sky. And his gaze, patient but relentless, fell upon the rich, ancient lands of the southern Song Dynasty. Like a hungry dragon, this new empire yearned to devour the wealthiest realms, bringing them into its fold. Their banners had unfurled from the distant steppes to the very gates of Europe, a tide that swept all before it. Kingdoms crumbled, old ways vanished, and the world held its breath, wondering what would come next. This was a storm of conquest unmatched, an empire stretching further than any before, in such little time. Their shadow, long and inescapable, now stretched eastward, touching the very borders of ancient China. The world was truly transforming, shaped by horse hooves and the stern will of the Mongol leadership. Meanwhile, in the south, lay the ancient, opulent southern Song Dynasty, a beacon of culture and wealth. Its cities hummed with life, art flourished, and its people enjoyed a splendor built over centuries. They lived behind walls, both physical and imagined, believing their prosperity offered a shield against outside threats. But beneath the gilded surface, cracks appeared. Internal divisions weakened the mighty dynasty from within. Power was fractured, like a shattered mirror, reflecting many smaller truths instead of one unifying vision. The Mongols' relentless gaze, a hawk's unwavering focus, now settled firmly on these southern realms. Two colossal powers, so vastly different, were destined to meet in a confrontation that would shake the world. The storm clouds gathered, not of rain, but of destiny, poised to break over the unsuspecting land. Few truly grasped the scale of the coming challenge, or the depth of the inevitable sorrow it would bring. And so, the stage was set for a siege, a battle that would forever alter the course of history. Friends, let us journey back, when stone and earth stood as the threshold of a great empire. Here, at a place called Xiangyang, lay a profound truth, a secret. It was the key, not one city, but two, a formidable twin, Xiangyang and Fancheng, guarding the vital Han. Xiangyang, robust and proud, stood sentinel, its ancient stones whispering tales of countless seasons, and across the swirling currents, Fancheng, Xiangyang's steadfast twin, completed this intricate defensive embrace. Together they formed a single integrated fortress, a powerful heart beating at the river's edge. The Han River, wide and deep, was not mere water. It was life, a vital artery. It carried goods, people, and whispers of empire, a constant flow through the land. This river, dear friend, was the grand gateway, the primary entrance to all that lay south. It led directly into the heartland of southern China, the Song Dynasty's very soul. For the Song people, those walls were not just stone, not cold mortar, nor mere brick. They were woven from sacrifice, from hope, from the collective breath of their ancestors. These fortifications were the very spine of their defense, holding everything else upright. It was their unyielding core, their last stand against an encroaching, relentless northern shadow. This was their final, desperate shield, a promise whispered in wind and carved in stone. Seemingly impregnable, this bastion stood, a symbol of defiance against overwhelming odds. It was their ultimate barrier against total annihilation, against the very end of their world's fate. To lose this place, my friend, meant to lose everything. Hope itself would wither. Beyond human ingenuity, nature herself conspired to make this place a formidable stronghold. The Han River, with its currents, served as a natural moat, wide, formidable and unforgiving. Rolling hills embraced the cities, silent sentinels, adding layers of natural, watchful defense. These natural contours amplified every stone, every battlement, making approach a fearsome prospect. The river itself was an ally, its currents a constant, unpredictable challenge to any attacker. Fancheng and Xiangyang, separated yet bound, offered mutual protection, a shared gaze across the water. This was the true strategic significance, a choke point, a crucial bottleneck that must be broken. Without Xiangyang, the south lay vulnerable, its bountiful lands open for relentless, bitter invasion. Here, empires would clash, dreams shatter, and the very fate of a dynasty would be decided. The Song knew this well. Their very survival hung upon these venerable, enduring walls, a monument to human will, an unyielding barrier against history's relentless, onward march. Xiangyang, the silent guardian, whose story etched itself deeply into the annals of time. The wind's whisper carried a new sound, a different murmur across these ancient lands, a quiet shifting, a subtle tremor. The ground beneath would soon crack wide open. The moment arrived, unannounced by thunder, yet it would forever alter history's course. The silent turning of a page, and conflict officially began its relentless, cruel march. In the quiet chambers, Kublai Khan saw more than just land. He saw destiny, his gaze fixed upon one vital point, a city waiting at the crossroads of empires. Xiangyang, not just a city, but a beating heart, crucial to this whole southern land. Its name echoed through centuries, a symbol of defiance, a vital gate to the south. Logistically, it was the key, controlling vast waterways, unlocking countless opportunities. Roads converged on Xiangyang, like vital veins to a heart, drawing all closer. And so, in the year 1267, the first tremors of the Great Storm began. Under stern Arju and cunning Liu Zheng, the pieces of their grand strategy moved. Seasoned commanders, they understood the grim task ahead, the immense weight of expectation. Their strategy was clear. Not a swift blow, but a slow, suffocating embrace. The Mongol host, like a gathering storm cloud, began its deliberate, unyielding advance. The initial movement was not an assault, but a meticulous, suffocating encirclement of life. Like threads of a vast spiderweb, they began to spin, drawing closer, relentlessly. Every path, every waterway, every avenue of escape or relief was noted, targeted. The intent was absolute: to starve the city, to sever its very lifelines completely. No grain, no news, no hope could penetrate the iron ring they now forged. A chilling realization dawned upon the city's inhabitants. They were utterly alone now. The beautiful city, once vibrant, became an isolated island, completely surrounded, truly besieged. This was no temporary camp. This would be a massive, permanent ring of iron. Every hand, every tool, every ounce of strength poured into this colossal endeavor. Walls within walls, a new frontier built to contain, to control, to dominate. The very landscape was reshaped, molded by the relentless will of the conquerors. Piece by piece, the invisible cord began to manifest, growing thicker, more ominous. The tightening noose was more than just a line. It was a psychological weapon, too. Not just a simple line, but a series of strong points. Formidable fortresses emerged. Each fort a sentinel, a watchful eye, an anchor in this grand, cruel design. These were permanent fixtures, meant to last, meant to crush any hope of relief. Every fort was carefully positioned, planned with chilling precision for maximum effect. A self-sufficient ring, designed to withstand counterattacks, to hold its ground firmly, forever. Initial movements were over. The true, grinding work of siege warfare now began. This was not a quick battle, but a test of endurance, a long, drawn-out agony. The city was being strangled, slowly, deliberately, its breath growing shallower now, tragically. A quiet, relentless pressure, a slow suffocation designed to break spirit, then bodies. The looming threat had solidified. The waiting game was replaced by active, daily struggle. No longer mere observers, the city's defenders now faced constant, gnawing, brutal pressure. The initial strategy was clear: isolate, exhaust, and systematically dismantle all resistance. Coordination was key. Every fort, every patrol played a vital role in this design. The noose, once a mere suggestion, was now undeniably present, visibly tightening, cold. Every avenue, every hope, every single lifeline was systematically, brutally cut off forever. The siege in all its grim reality had truly begun. A long, dark night lay ahead. The outside world forgot them. Time inside Xiangyang simply stopped, a quiet vigil clinging to ancient stones now. Life inside adapted. Each ration, a small victory. Every shared glance, a silent testament to enduring spirit. Beyond the walls, the Mongol ring tightened, an iron embrace. Their formidable, patient presence grew relentlessly. General Lu Wenhuan bore the city's soul. His quiet resolve, a flicker against the encroaching, overwhelming darkness. Whispers of relief, a fragile hope on the wind, stirred weary hearts. A fleeting beacon, so desperately needed now. Ordinary folk became guardians, their hands once holding tools, now gripped steel. An entire city stood ready. Even children found moments of joy, a resilient spirit refusing to yield completely. Life persisted, a quiet defiance. The enemy was ever present, their skills honed, their patience endless, a constant, chilling reminder of the threat. Each day brought new repairs, new preparations, a testament to human ingenuity, pushing back against inevitability. Under the watchful stars, silent promises were made, to hold, to endure, to defy the relentless siege. Then, a glimmer, a relief fleet, a surge of hope, bravely sailing upstream, challenging the Mongol cordon. The Mongols were ready, their eyes like hawks, watching every movement. No weakness would be left unexploited. On board, the stakes were clear. Victory meant life. Failure, the slow demise of a besieged populace. Steel met wood, arrows rained down. The river turned crimson, echoing with desperate shouts and battle cries. But the Mongol tactics, their sheer numbers, were overwhelming. One by one, Song hopes sank. From the walls, Lu Wenhuan watched. Each sinking ship, a piece of his heart, a crushing blow. The remaining fleet retreated, a mournful procession of shattered dreams. Hope, once vibrant, now merely a whisper. News of failure spread like a chill wind. A collective sigh, a deeper shadow falling upon weary, waiting souls. Yet, Lu Wenhuan refused to break. His words are balm, reminding them that their spirit above all must endure. The Mongol cordon tightened further, an unyielding grip. Relief seemed an impossible dream, a fading memory now. But hope is stubborn. Another fleet, grander and more determined, assembled, ready to challenge destiny again. The Mongols, masters of foresight, anticipated every move. Their understanding of terrain and river was unmatched. With drums beating and flags unfurled, they advanced. A desperate gamble, staking everything against impossible odds. The Mongols swarmed, their smaller, agile vessels weaving through the river, a deadly dance of arrows and fire. Courage was abundant, yet courage alone cannot win against overwhelming strategic genius and sheer numbers. Fire arrows rained down like molten tears, turning proud vessels into infernos. The river bled fiery agony. Commanders fell, their desperate pleas lost amidst the roar of battle. A noble effort, destined for heartbreak. The river became a graveyard, choked with debris and silent streams, a somber monument to valiant, futile efforts. Again, Lu Wenhuan witnessed it all. The distant smoke, a cruel messenger. His heart carried the city's burden. The Mongols now commanded the river, its currents bending to their will. Xiangyang was truly isolated now. Days turned to months, months to years. Food dwindled, faces grew gaunt, spirits tested beyond measure. Yet they endured. Each patch on a uniform, each shared meal, a symbol of unbreakable human defiance. The Mongols grew bolder, their siege engines lumbering closer. The drumbeat of their advance echoed menacingly. Defenders worked tirelessly, shoring up walls, preparing for the inevitable brutal assault. Hope was a fragile candle. Children dreamed of green fields, a life before the siege, a poignant innocence amidst the growing despair. Every hand, scarred and calloused, held a weapon. Every heart beat with a defiant, weary courage. The human cost was immense, etched on every face, every silent funeral. A city mourning its brave souls. From the tower, Lu Wenhuan saw only an endless sea of tents. His city, a tiny island of resistance. They held on to small memories, whispers of a life before. These fragile anchors kept their spirits from breaking. Rain fell, mirroring the mood. Dark, persistent, yet the ancient walls stood firm against the relentless downpour. Slowly, imperceptibly, the outer defenses eroded. A quiet, grinding battle of wills and attrition. Mongol scouts probed, relentless in their search for weakness. Their patience was a terrifying weapon. Candles burned low in every home, shadows dancing with their fears. Yet, resolve flickered, stubbornly refusing to die. Xiangyang, after years, still stood, a testament to an unbreakable spirit, a defiance whispered through history's pages. The relentless siege of Xiangyang had dragged on, testing the very spirit of both besieger and besieged alike. For years, the great Mongol war machine, accustomed to swift victory, found itself utterly stymied before these walls. Their famed cavalry and archers were magnificent, yes, but against stone, they were merely waves crashing upon rock. A deep unease began to settle within the Mongol command. This was not their way. This was not conquest. Their initial assaults, though brave, had broken against the Song defenses, proving the city's incredible resilience. Ingenuity, however, was a core tenet of their warfare. Stymied by strength, they sought new solutions. The key, they realized, lay not just in direct assault, but in controlling the very lifeblood of Xiangyang. To starve the city, they must first master the Han River, an unfamiliar challenge for land-bound warriors. Every attempt by the Song to resupply the city by water was met with fierce resistance from the Mongols. The river became a battleground of wits and will, each side desperate to gain the upper hand. They began to build, slowly extending their reach across the crucial waterways, inch by painstaking inch. Controlling the Han River meant choking the very breath from Xiangyang. It was a slow, agonizing squeeze. Their frustration fueled innovation. The old ways were not enough. Something fundamentally new was desperately needed. They sought not merely to breach walls, but to sever the city's lifeline, its enduring connection to the world. The Han River, once a friend to Xiangyang, was slowly, inexorably, becoming a tool of its enemies. Each skirmish on the water was a desperate plea for survival, a testament to the Song's dwindling hope. The stalemate on land bred a quiet desperation, forcing their gaze beyond familiar horizons for a new kind of power. The river control was a painful, gradual choke, but not the ultimate answer needed to break the walls. Even with dwindling supplies, Xiangyang's defenses held firm. A greater force was required, a true game-changer. Their existing siege engines, though powerful, were simply not enough to crack this magnificent, enduring nut. This was the moment when Mongol adaptability truly shone, when they looked beyond their own vast knowledge. They knew of advanced siegecraft, from lands far to the west, from distant Persia and its brilliant engineers. The Mongol Empire was vast, a bridge connecting cultures and technologies. They knew where to seek help. Envoys were dispatched, seeking out the masters of siege warfare, the skilled craftsmen of the Islamic world. They needed not just bigger machines, but fundamentally different ones, a new class of destructive power. And so, from across the endless steppes, came the Persian engineers, bringing with them a terrifying secret. These men were not merely builders, they were artists of destruction, masters of a forgotten, ancient science. Their collaboration began, a fusion of Mongol ambition and Persian ingenuity, a truly formidable alliance formed. Whispers began to spread through the camp about new engines, unlike anything seen on these battlefields before. This was no ordinary trebuchet. This was the time's Hui-Hui-Pao*, the Muslim trebuchet, a new terror. Its design was revolutionary, not simply a larger version of old machines, but a true leap in destructive capability. These behemoths were designed to hurl massive boulders, far heavier than any projectile known in China. Imagine, if you will, stones weighing hundreds of pounds, flying through the air like deadly, silent meteors. The speed of their construction reflected both Mongol determination and Persian engineering prowess. It was truly impressive. This wasn't just metal and wood. It was a potent symbol of global conquest, of knowledge exchanged for power. When these monstrous siege engines were finally ready, the air itself seemed to hum with dreadful anticipation. From within the city walls, the Song defenders watched with a growing, cold dread as these giants appeared. This was not merely an escalation, it was a fundamental shift, an entirely new level of destructive force. The rules of engagement were about to change forever, ushered in by the terrifying, silent flight of these stones. Where old machines chipped, these new ones pulverized, tearing great gashes into the once impregnable stone. The sound, they said, was like thunder, each impact a terrible drumbeat heralding Xiangyang's impending doom. Hope, once a steadfast companion, began to crack and crumble, mirroring the very walls around them. These were instruments of ultimate destruction, not siege engines of old, but harbingers of a brutal new era. The Persian fury had arrived. Xiangyang's fate, it seemed, was now sealed by these unstoppable stone giants. After endless months, a palpable stillness settled, heavy with the unsaid, upon Fansheng's ancient stones. Every soul knew the long dance was nearing its final, agonizing crescendo, a terrible reckoning. Then, new shadows arose from the plain. Colossal machines, whispered to be from distant lands. These were the Hui Hui Pao, a terrifying whisper from the west, now turned upon this land. Each stone, a giant's tear, was meticulously set into its cradle, waiting for release. And then, the sky itself seemed to rip apart with an unimaginable roar, a sound of dread. Ancient stones, once thought eternal, crumbled like dry earth before this new, brutal might. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through even the most hardened hearts that desperate, awful day. The once proud walls, guardians of generations, now gaped open, a wound in stone. Through the jagged maw the invaders surged, a torrent of iron and unforgiving human will. Every alley, every home, became a battleground, stained with courage and with utter despair. Fansheng fell, a testament to raw power and a symbol of an empire's fading light. Across the river, Xiangyang watched its twin city perish, a mirror of their own grim fate. Now the dread machines turned their gaze, a cold, unblinking eye, upon Xiangyang itself. Stone after stone, a relentless rhythm of destruction, pounded against the city's heart. While above, the sky rained thunder. Below, the earth itself was being patiently devoured. The defenders, starved and utterly weary, fought on, fueled only by a fading, grim hope. Chaos reigned within the walls, a storm of fear, dust, and unending, bitter resolve. Then, with a final, earth-shattering roar, the ancient gates themselves gave way. Broken, the tide had turned, irreversible now. The Mongol host flowed into the city's veins. Every street, every home, became a desperate last stand, etched in blood and tears. Overwhelmed, outnumbered, the valiant defenders finally yielded, their strength utterly spent. In March 1273, Xiangyang fell, opening a scarred path for an empire's final conquest. The roar of battle faded, replaced by an unsettling hush. What remained was only silence, a city's broken heart. New banners now fluttered against the bruised sky, a stark declaration of who now held this sacred ground. The brave defenders, their spirit still strong, now stood disarmed, the weight of their world crushing their shoulders. A proud general, his heart undoubtedly shattered, made the solemn, painful bow of surrender a bitter pill. Steel, once wielded with fierce loyalty, now lay in silent heaps, surrendered to the unyielding hand of fate. Their eyes, once burning with defiance, now held only a quiet shame, a deep sorrow for all lost. The victors watched, their expressions unyielding, yet a quiet pragmatism seemed to temper their overwhelming triumph. But then, an unexpected gesture, a whispered offer not of cruelty, but of surprisingly lenient terms. Kublai, ever the shrewd strategist, sought not just conquest, but ultimately the allegiance of the vanquished. Promises of position, land, and even continued command were dangled like a tempting, unsettling lifeline. Loyalties fractured, some clung to the past, while others saw a stark, new path, a chance to live. For many, pragmatism outweighed pride. They chose life, hoping to safeguard their people's future. Like a cold whisper carried on the wind, the news traveled south, reaching distant ears. The imperial court, once vibrant, now fell into a chilling silence as the unthinkable news arrived. Panic began to ripple through the capital's heart, a creeping dread that gripped every soul. Xiangyang's fall delivered a crushing psychological blow, shaking the very foundations of the southern song. A feeling of insurmountable loss settled upon the land, a heavy blanket of despair and foreboding. Yet, beyond the heartbreak, lay a cold, undeniable truth. The path was now open. Along the Han River, Mongol ships, once trapped, now prepared to sail, a swift, deadly current. The vital waterway, a strategic artery, now flowed freely, an open invitation to the conquerors. This crucial passage, once a steadfast barrier, was now firmly, irrevocably, in Mongol hands. And Hangzhou, our beautiful capital once deemed safe, was now suddenly vulnerable, its peace fleeting. The road to the heartland lay exposed. The beginning of the empire's final tragic collapse had arrived. The dust settled slowly over Xiangyang, but its echoes would ripple across an entire continent's destiny forevermore. This arduous siege, this singular triumph, opened the very heartland of China to the unstoppable Mongol advance. The southern Song Dynasty, long a beacon of culture, found its vital defenses irrevocably shattered, terribly exposed. What followed was a collapse so swift, it seemed to defy belief, a domino effect of lost hopes. The Mongol horde, once held at bay, swept through the land, a relentless tide claiming ancient territories. China, a civilization of millennia, now found itself under the dominion of foreign conquerors, irrevocably changed. From the ashes of the Song rose the Yuan dynasty, a new chapter written by the very forces of conquest. Xiangyang stands as a stark testament to the devastating, transformative power of siege warfare itself. The Hui Hui Pao, a terrifying innovation, became the ultimate game-changer, breaking walls and spirits alike. Yet, we remember the enduring human will, the defenders who held on with incredible, stubborn bravery, and the besiegers too, whose years of unrelenting effort pushed the boundaries of human endurance. This single siege, a crucible of conflict, irrevocably altered the grand flowing river of Chinese history. Its legacy resonates still, a profound reminder of how pivotal moments can reshape the world. What other sieges, my friends, do you feel profoundly changed the course of our shared human story?